It's still, oh my goodness, technology, I swear. It's counting down. That has to mean we're alive. So, welcome to Unmuzzled Chat. Kick off the jingle. Why not? Because we can. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the settings just to make sure that we're on camera. Let's go to audio. We're just doing some checks, folks. Yeah, that all looks good. On live yet. Here. Oh, there it is. We are on. We did it. Thanks for your help, man.
Nice. I didn't.
So, folks, we love you. We, in fact, we had to mute that there because that refurb was
Interesting.
gonna trip us out.
It was.
Mike here was educating me. All right, we're gonna shut this off. Mike here was educating me that TikTok is the place to be.
I mean,
can you fix the "don't tread on me"?
Man,
come on now.
What is going on here?
I just noticed that's better.
Okay.
What do I do with those "Let's Go Brandon" shirts now? Is that man even alive, or demon alive anymore? Or is there still meaning behind that shirt?
I mean,
what are your thoughts?
I would keep it. I had an Obama shirt.
What?
No. And it said,
what?
Oh my gosh! It said, an end to an error. ERROR.
Okay.
And I still have it.
There, Mike.
No. Yeah.
Devil incarnate, that man.
Yeah,
Well, dare I say, he's the one in the basement. He said it himself. He was the one running the show the whole time, not the senile old rotting bag of oatmeal.
I never heard he said that, but it doesn't surprise me.
He voiced in I believe his second term in an interview where it had to do something about all he was doing, and he was like, I'd prefer to be the one in the basement, like pulling the strings, like telling the person, essentially. That is not word for word at all, but it is actually surprisingly close. I mean, to the sentiment. Like there's no misinterpretation on what I just represented.
So let me give a perspective. So
I'm dating my memory.
In my opinion, the president has a group of people, just like, so let me give an analogy. So a big business, all the chief bananas, right? The chief operating officer, chief CEOs, so on and so forth. They have advisors that help them. Is it not the same with? I mean, when you get to that level, like, is it not okay to have? I mean, someone helping you, not helping, advisor. Like, for example, people go to therapy. I think that's a great thing. I think counseling, I think therapy, psychologist. I'm a little on the fence with psychiatrists, just because I don't think we need to push pills on everybody. But I think therapy is a really, really good thing. That's an advisor. And so it's the same thing. So and not to get too political, but we can.
I like where you were at just a second ago.
Oh, right here.
I just want to keep you consistent on the audio volume.
Okay, so I got to be super close.
Yeah, because just an FYI for you and some of the listeners too. We do heavily push Rumble because Rumble obviously is the hub for free speech and news, but it entirely replaces the talking heads because it has the live streams of patriots sifting through the propaganda on all the mainstream. So anything news is playing, more than likely of merit, that they're twisting to their slave masters, a patriot's going to pick up on that and stream live and sift through.
Right.
So, but for you and listeners, why we're so focused on audio is the majority of podcasts still are audio only.
Right.
Rumble is exclusively the only video. So anyway, we want to capture quality audio. Keep that in mind. Yeah.
But my point was, I think successful people have advisors, and I think that there has always been a group underneath the president. Like, that's just, and again, the senators, the congressmen, representatives, I mean, all of them, I think, have that. And that to me 100%. Is okay. In fact, my second master's is industrial organizational psychology, which is really corporate consulting. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's literally what you're doing is you're essentially giving advice or counsel to executives. So,
yeah, you know, it all depends on who you surround yourself with, right? But I don't think it's a bad thing if obviously you're surrounding yourself with the right people. So we did want to start today's episode off with this. Did I save our neighbor's number or one of our other camper neighbor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We did talk about this.
Shout out to Bruce.
Bruce is
what a stud.
Can I just describe Bruce for a second?
I appreciate you, Bruce.
Bruce is an older guy, probably in his, I would say, late 60s.
Well, keep anonymity.
Yeah.
Right, keep anonymity.
But no. And he's been, I guess, coming up here forever, and he's got multiple places where he goes. Mm-hmm. And how cool is that, just to get out in nature? And I had a chance to meet him the first day I was here, and he came over. He's helped out with the batteries. He just chit chatted. He made fun of my canopy, which was hilarious. But because I've got this
MacGyvered with sticks.
Maybe we'll throw a picture later, but like.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's definitely MacGyvered. So
if we weren't live, I would integrate it into the editing, but it's all good. Right there, boom. Just point. Great. It'll be over. No, I'm not that good.
There.
It would be the whole screen. Oh. We would disappear.
But yeah. So yeah, on that note, go with what you're gonna introduce.
Well, so we mentioned the trials my dog Bolt experienced the other day, and it was quite substantial. And I genuinely feel that he was very close, and he was knocking on death's door. He was very close to not making it.
Yeah.
And I felt that for a while, especially that morning before rushing him in. And it's just crazy that through Bruce and talking with him, I guess his nephew caught wind of another dog near here. Now it is a little closer to Flagstaff, but it's a similar altitude, similar climate, moisture, and pines, just where we're at. And let me just read this post, because we would like to spread some awareness. This is serious. My dog almost went. Mm-hmm. And let me express the utmost gratitude. And it's crazy. We can maybe continue on that after the point here, but like life's challenges and just making the best of things. Like, it's our choice, whatever perspective we want to put on it, whether we're gonna crumble, and let things spiral out of control, or if we've done that self-work in a way, your true character really shows, like in times of trials.
Oh man,
like who you really are.
Flight or fight. Like that's literally, there's two different types of people in my opinion. Flight or fight.
Yeah. So it's so important to put in the work to where some of the greatest challenges, especially as we mature, that we refine ourselves to kind of more so be ready and have that challenge accepted opportunity.
Right.
So that then you're pretty much geared for any outcome, because I really feel it could have gone either way. And once again, I was working on that episode just before even kicking this off, that I have yet to upload. That is going to lead to the power of prayer, because I do believe that personally had a part to play for bolt pulling through. But this was crazy news, and we just want to share it with you because I was surprised. This family's got to be utterly surprised in the most horrific way. So to be aware of this is just so important, right? Because we don't want to lose our companions. So it's a family that joined an Arizona camping group on Facebook, and they put out the alarm. But there's a picture of this pup that died in a grave with the flowers and everything, and you can even see the pup's other friend. It's beautiful, these animals, how they interact, and you can just tell this one's missing his best friend. But anyway, they stated, please be careful of your fur babies and mushrooms. We were up and dispersed camping around Lake Marshall, and think he ate a few, and a few hours later he passed. So this is a fairly good-sized dog. Yeah, medium to large-sized dog, similar to Bolt. I mean, different breeds. This is more type of a poodle, I'd assume. You know, but their insides are all the same. And anyway, my condolences. My heart goes out to that family.
Can I just say something that, so, and we're off the cuff.
Yeah.
So, I think it was my grandfather that told me this story. So there's a flood, okay, and they start evacuating. This guy is like, I'm gonna hang out. So he hangs out in his house. He starts boarding up his house. Water line goes up, and they come by with boats now. And he's like, no, I'm good. He's on the roof. They send a helicopter. He's like, no, I'm good. And he dies. And he goes to the pearly gates. And he says, well, why'd you let me die? And he says, well, I sent people. I sent a boat. And I sent a helicopter. So the reason I say that is you taking the step to go to the vet, I think was key. Like you had to take that step. You had to get someone else involved, because I didn't know medically what was going on.
He was dealing with paralysis.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting because, yes, I think all the steps were necessary, and how I even felt inclined the night before to add, I have an activated charcoal binder right over here.
Yeah.
I'm mainly using that to pull mold out of my system because I have mold toxicity. But it pulls out toxins, and I have the syringe right over there. And it's kind of important if you have canines to have these type of, it doesn't have the needle on it or something, but you can administer, I did a full syringe of that mixed in, and then I also added some trisalts, so that had some electrolytes and fluids,
right?
And I believe that helped flush it out, because by the time I came back from that, what do you call it, animal hospital, he already had some blackness in his stool. And there's no way that already processed from the activated charcoal they gave him.
Right.
So that had to have been from the night prior. But yeah, it's, oh my gosh, to act out on gut and intuition and recognize and not be arrogant to kind of your point in that story is to like, oh no, you know,
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was initially with it, where I'm like, all right, dog, like buck up, it's either, you made your choice, but I really didn't foresee where it was going to go. So I did what I could. And then obviously the next morning I did voice I had some regret, because it was like, he clearly was in pain.
Yeah.
And,
but again, I do this way too often. I get sick and then I'm like, let me just kind of see what happens. Let me see if it runs its course. And most of the time it runs its course. However, there's been times where I let things run its course and I got really sick and I end up in the hospital. So that, I mean, it's having perspective, but I think in a dog situation, you don't really know. Like they can't voice the pain. You can see it a little bit. You can, their demeanor. He was definitely. I mean, he was very physically not there, but. And I think that's where your head went, and that's where my head was too. I was like, right. He probably got stung by something, but I think when he couldn't do his back legs, I think both of us, like, I was like, yeah, that's not good. Like, so.
No. I mean, it's great. Yeah. A few hours later for those individuals. So.
Well, moral of the story is
I wonder if they had. So I've reached out to them on Facebook and I hope they respond, because I would actually like to compare any phases their dog dealt with, because then we could actually hone in on what is up here that is hazardous for our companions.
Yeah, they talked about the poison. That apparently there's ranchers doing this thing, and that to me is crazy. Strychnine or something like that. Yeah. But I will say, moral of the story is, if you are going camping, you are coming from the valley, or you're coming anywhere, you're coming in this area, make sure you watch your dogs. That's it. Make sure you know what's going on with your dogs. Make sure if there's mushrooms around, your dogs aren't eating them. So yeah.
We're near Sunrise Ski Resort, right?
Yeah, we saw it today.
Greens Peak. People know about Greens Peak. That's the travel land side. This is National Forest, Apache National Forest side.
Yeah.
And, kind of to transition, because, you talked about, so from the dog companion side to human side, and I do want to distinctly kind of go over again that human life is far more valuable than these companions.
Yeah,
right?
I think all dogs are gonna have them.
I do too.
That's my
I genuinely feel I will meet Rosie again. I'll meet all these companions. I really do.
My mom wants to be buried with all her animals, so she gets them cremated when they pass.
Okay.
And she's got all these urns.
Oh, geez.
And she told us, she said, when I die, I want to be buried with all of my animals, and we're gonna do that.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
So, and truth be told, I have two of my pups, Rusty and Osleo, and they're in my garage. And same thing. Like, so I will say that I agree, human life is the most important. But man, I sure do love. I love my kitten.
I almost want
I love my bunny. And my fish.
I almost want to ask you the question, but I went over it in my other episode. So when that gets uploaded, listeners just have to check out that episode for my answer, or maybe I'll spoiler alert it. But it's a common situation where even in classrooms they'll be like, "Hey, on a raise of hands kind of situation, what would you choose?" And this is how it goes. Like you're at a lake, and there's just a stranger out there drowning, and it's your dog out there drowning, and you have a choice. You could save one of them. You have time for one of them. Now, I know, like me, I'm like, well, I'm gonna save them both, but no, like the reality.
So you're asking me this question? So
yes.
Well, I absolutely would go after the human. However, I'm also 5'6". How big is this How big is this
Oh,
person?
got you. You don't want to. Let's say you can safely save either of them, but you have to choose. You have to choose one. Meaning they're both literally drowning. So by the time you get to the one you're going to, the other one's under.
Unfortunately, I would save the human. Like
I'm actually, that breeds hope for humanity for another man to even say that, because in a lot of these classroom settings and even with full adults.
Wait. So teachers are asking this?
So I actually heard this not too long ago. I mean, it was maybe close to a year ago on Charlie Kirk. And I'm not sure if he had a teacher on that was talking about that, but it was a lesson.
Interesting.
I don't know what the lesson really, it's dating back, but I've heard it being asked, like in certain, it could, maybe it's even seminar or something.
So can I ask a follow-up question to it?
What?
It's your worst enemy in the entire world, human or a stranger.
So in the other episode, I did go as far as to include an extreme leftist liberal.
Okay.
And my dog. I'm saving the human.
Oh, yeah.
And I get that saying it, and then the situation being, this person just, let's say it wasn't a stranger. This person literally just argued with you. Like, it, hands down, it's just not morally. It's not even a thing to ponder about. It's not.
Yeah. So, okay. So, cat or dog? Which one do you say?
Dog.
So having a cat? I don't know, man. My cat's pretty cool.
Cats have 9 lives. It should be fine.
But what if it's his 9th life?
Well, then he shouldn't have wasted his other 8.
No, I definitely...
Cats are amazing, and,
And I would say my bunny over my cat. If it was my bunny and my cat, I would probably do my bunny. Well, I don't know. Enzo is...
But there's a reason I have dogs and not cats. There's so many layers, and
you couldn't have a cat out here.
I genuinely feel
you couldn't have a cat out here though.
No, and there's no protective. Are you free?
Unless you're on a leash.
Unless you're trained a bobcat or a mountain lion cat. But the simple lesson, like responsibility for a dog versus a cat, it's 2 different things. I see typically, people that tend to go cat really don't want to assume that level of responsibility.
Have you ever had to clean a litter box?
Bro.
That's a responsibility.
Bro.
And especially if you have a cat that doesn't know how to use his own litter box.
Wow.
Like he literally doesn't know how to bury. Like he was never taught how to do that. And we got him from the rescue, and it was a cool story. Like we tried to connect with this family for 6 weeks and blah blah, but they ended up taking him to the humane society. We got wind of this, and my girlfriend went the next day and picked him up, and that was right after Christmas. It was our Christmas cat. Anyways, moral of the story: he's like a dog. He actually scratches at the door when he wants in, but he just never learned how to bury his thing. But yes, I agree with what you're saying, because dogs need to go out consistently, so that there's a lot more consistent, like
there's more
frequency,
attention, there's more training, but
there's a reason why they say dogs are your best friend, right? Dogs are man's best friend. But would you say that they're like a first cousin cats, or are they a distant cousin? Like,
we don't need to make an episode about the whole cat dog debacle, because ultimately at the end of the day, they both can teach and have great life lesson, teach great life lesson. Man, why am I tripping over words? It's too early to be doing that. Not wasted, because it was great conversation. I drained my battery, I feel, a little bit with the deep conversations we already had today. We tend to do that. You guys saw our last episode was a ping pong session. You should have seen our conversation.
And wait, but
hour later, it's like, hey, let me come back and finish up this one point because it's bothering me.
We ate really well.
Yes, we did.
We had each 4 burger patties and each 2 steaks. It was.
But they were,
they were tiny steaks. Yes,
it was good. And kudos to the chef today. Thank you, Mike. It was delicious. I appreciate it. And you're
there's a little bit of there's a little bit of seasoning on them.
the hamburgers.
They're a little salty.
It's too funny. It's too funny. If only you were here, because the first burger was like, and I tried being polite, like it wasn't that bad.
Well, you did there's a little bit of seasoning. And then I bit into it and I went, "Whoa, that's bad."
And so the next go around, I even mentioned, I was like, maybe not even season them, and there's enough in the pan.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what you did, but the next round I got, I was choking. There was more.
It was bad.
I don't even know how that happens. You must have used more.
No, I did. Yeah, I did one side. I did one side.
You must have. But anyway, that was fun.
It was fun.
It's nice to have you.
It was interesting though, because you're like, man, we should jump on chat right now, and I think we do that a lot. And then we're like, oh, we should jump on chat. That sounds like amazing. Like, and then, but we're trying not to ping pong as much because you're like, do. So
we really didn't build out much of a, thing to go off of. But to transition though from these companions to our health a bit.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about life hacks.
Is pretty important because you were sharing how you sometimes didn't do things when you were sick that you coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Yes.
And I believe one of the life hacks that a lot of people that were listening to news that wasn't demonizing the substance already has built up their own testimony on it. And ivermectin, not just ivermectin, but antiparasiticals. I even prior to ivermectin bought a whole bunch of Panacure C, which is literally a dewormer for dogs. I even did a cycle of that. And it's common practice in multitude of other countries and civilized countries. It's not just in the outback. That it's just annual tradition to do a parasite cleanse. Why? In so many countries, why is that absurd in America? Why is that not even a thing? Because there are parasites, like you even were like, what? And scientifically, in some raw sushi, it has been proven raw sushi can contain in a quarter inch up to 10,000 parasites within a quarter inch. Now,
man, I love sushi though.
Yeah, I do too, but I don't bother with it because I don't want a parasitic load. I make sure my sushi is cooked, so I only order cooked sushi.
But you like bear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so bear, you have to cook at a
stew.
A certain limit. I forgot what it was. My brother actually made me some.
Because they have a high level parasite.
Yes, and if you don't cook it at that, then you therefore can get that or you can get sick from it.
Yeah, they got some pretty bad ones too. Yeah, so some people are fearful, but oh my gosh, bear can be delicious.
You said bear stew a couple days ago. I don't know. It has a gamey taste to it. Like not the stew, but the meat I had was gamey.
It all boils down to who's, cooking it up. And the family that happened to cook the bear stew I've had before has like generational kind of recipes to these things. And it was delicious. I venture to say the majority of folk wouldn't even have known if you didn't tell them.
Do you season it?
Yes, there's seasoning. absolutely CZ. Lots of CZ. No. So that I do consider that a life hack, and for me, it's wild. I mean, we can even dive into the conspiratorial a little bit because once again, I can't really prove or disprove bacteria.
Some bacteria is good for you, though.
Flu,
right? Like,
well,
I mean, I don't know specifically which ones. I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination, but
like viruses, bacteria, and like cold flus. It's interesting.
Well, there's
there
delineation though. Virus and bacteria are very different.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting because
we have bacteria in our mouth, we have bacteria in our stomachs that are good for us. But to your point, there are bad bacteria. We have, as far as viruses, I don't think we have viruses in us that are good for us. Like, you don't want a virus, period. Well,
like the bugs, what do they consider a cold and the flu? Like a bacteria?
Flu, influenza. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, but just disclaimer to anybody out there. So, and then flu or cold, I think it is just bacteria. I think it's just, you know.
So that's what I think our generations have been taught. But the thing is, with information I've seen and dove into, there's mega medical doctrine and books that talk about these colds and all sorts of things, and it's all parasitical. And I'm just sitting here scratching my head, mainly due to my own experiences, is to, wow, could this be part of the indoctrination and what got wrapped up into Western medicine to actually get us further away from health and lead to more profitability to the whole, because we know that is business.
Well, there's big business and people sick.
It's big business. Like, yeah. And I don't know, maybe you'll agree or disagree, but Western medicine, as far as I'm concerned, it's about profits over health and wellness.
So this is
there's outliers.
Remember we were talking about my 40th checkup, and I said it was
you actually had a pretty deep involved.
Yeah, and my doctor was from India, and I had a lot of confidence in that. Now my actual doctor, 3-4 times, was not able to get in. It was rescheduled, and I finally said, I don't want to deal with this doctor. So there was another doctor in that same practice.
It was supposed to be,
meant to be, an Indian lady, and she was phenomenal. And she was very direct with me. She was not trying to prescribe anything to me, like because that's kind of my litmus. Like, are you trying to push something down my throat? Like, It wasn't about that. Okay. She had concerns about my heart, which I can.
Do you know all her education? Is she just a doctor?
She gave me a quick summary of about probably 6 minutes when I sat down with her.
Yeah.
Where she went to med school and all. I mean, board certified, all that stuff. And I don't remember. So, but she did. But she was very even bedside manner, very just here. This is who I am. Nice to meet you. Sorry, your doctor, my assigned doctor, which I'd never met.
Oh, so it's the same facility.
Yep, same facility. Anyways, went through every test you can think of. Gave me, which was kind of cool because then the lab results. It's all digital now because I haven't been to the doctor in years. It's all digital, and I'm like, oh. And then I went to my girlfriend's mom, who's been a nurse for 25 years, 30 years, and she gave me some advice on certain things. But I agree with your question. I think to a point. I think there's some outliers. Agendas, yes, and they get paid or they get kickbacks if they prescribe certain medications and stuff like that. All this under the table. Right. I think that happens. It's also the reason I don't like to go to the doctor. That reason right there. But the second reason is every time I go to the doctor, I know it's going to be thousands of dollars. I have insurance. I've been paying insurance for years. Why is it that I should have zero out of pocket? Because you know what? I paid for the people that go once a month. I've paid for that,
See, it is typically the ones that fall under your coverage are typically the ones that follow their indoctrination. They follow things. It's weird through the licensing they have. Like they're giving directives and or like they this is how you go with it, and it typically leads to pharmaceuticals, and it's not diving in on any roots of the issues at all. So just everything nowadays, like it's like sourcing is key for. Oh, we got Bolt here. Right. Bolt, what are you doing?
He's trying to get a bug. I think you just got it.
That's hilarious.
So, but you're right. Sourcing, but that was
everything
that
from
was
information to your doctors.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make though about this doctor.
Okay.
I had more confidence because she was from India. That, and I said this when we were out cooking earlier. I had more confidence that she was from India because my work, I work with a lot of individuals from India, and I just see this collectivism that takes place in that country, well, as opposed to our country. It's very individualistic, right? It's kind of a dog eat dog world, right? Like you have to like survive and then I'll land the plane here. But my girlfriend's family, her dad's side is Hispanic, and they're very collective. Everyone takes care of everyone. Mm. I was raised, you were 18, you got kicked out. Go figure it out. Mm. You're going to get debt. You're going to get this. You're going to fall into that American dream, right? And I will probably never have a doctor that, like, moving forward, because again, I don't go very often, but this experience was so cool. Mm-hmm. I'll probably never have a doctor that was raised here. I want someone who's raised probably in Europe or India, because of that collectivism. Mm-hmm. And that, and it kind of starts sparking like socialism and things like that. But at the end of the day, collectivism as a whole, you take care of each other. Like, you just do that. And in our insurance plans, our just even how we pay taxes, things like that, there's not really a collectivism taking place there. Everyone's trying to get out of it. We were talking about that before. And the reason is because, why are you taking my money when you're not showing me what you're doing with it, right? If you took my money and then you said, hey, Mike, here's free medical. Hey, Mike, here's a dividend, a kickback.
It's crazy. There's some clips I could play where, oh my gosh, some of these clinics, I believe one gentleman that ran a pharmacy, like invested and started owning pharmacies and stuff, started educating himself on the whole insurance side of everything, and he just realized how corrupt even the insurance. So there's so many layers. The medical, like, and it makes it very complex for the average citizen, because we got these busy lives, and all we want to do is just get back to them and get well. And it's unfortunate that the system almost perpetuates the illness more than whatever. Yeah, for a lot of the time. But a lot of the corruption is actually in the layers of the insurance itself. And like, my current doctor is actually even prescribing a special type of antifungal that is going to be more aggressive and more effective also with the mold, because, mold falls under that too. So the binder and both of these things are working in tandem kind of together to eradicate. And it's interesting because even the pharmacies are like, whoa, why are you getting this versus this? And it's like, well, because this doctor knows better. This is a superior product. The insurance doesn't care about the superior product. They don't care about the patient. They care about what's profitable to them. And behind the scenes, it is crazy what they're doing. And it's actually quite criminal what they're doing, only covering the things that are profitable. Once again, profits over health and wellness. So it's a layer of the corruption of the system.
Follow the money. I say that with everything in life. Wow. Follow the money. You will figure things out when you do that.
You? Oh, that's your foot. I thought Bolt got under the table.
My little feet got under it.
So to sum up ivermectin and why I even question, man, are viruses even quite what we think or what we've been being taught? Because that's getting away from parasitical and where all these other not even historical because they're not that old. But getting to the roots of kind of medicine, it was more about the parasites than all these new things. Anyway, so from personal experience, it's like, well, why symptoms of COVID or whatever, like, and by the way, a really, I feel, easy way of vetting a doctor now is just, hey, were you guys at any point pro jab, mask, like things like, oh, okay, well,
You know what's interesting about that question, which I think is actually a pretty relevant question now, but even so, I have family members that are in the medical field. I've had friends that are in the medical field.
Mhm.
Even that is very polarized. I've heard several family members say, oh yeah, no, I had to wear a mask, and it was so bad, and the hospitals were just flooded with COVID, and then I have the other side saying no, that's not the case. They were coming in with a gunshot wound, but then they figured out they had COVID, so it became COVID because why? Follow the money. At the end of the day, what ended up happening was they were getting up to $30,000.
You know what actually stood up the pandemic was the defective PCR testing. It was
I don't know what is that?
The PCR testing, the testing for COVID.
Oh,
the creator that died strangely.
Oh yeah.
Stated this is the PCR test that he created was not an effective way of identifying illness in these things, and he explains even why. Mainly due to how you could ramp up the cycles. You could literally ramp up the cycles to get an air particle and pretty much come up with anything. So that in and of itself, it actually had negative efficacy. And I picked up on, and a lot of people picked up on the false positives right out the gate. So they knew, like, this is all, something's not right here. And if that should have triggered enough red flags for people, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to judge. It's ultimately, I don't want to get too off track. It did lead to more blessing, more exposure, more understanding, and now it's healthy to question things. And they wanted to keep us away from that by throwing conspiracy out there, left and right, even started demonizing critical thinking. What? Critical thinking, as though, hey, for some people, and they try cleverly putting a pretty bow on it and wrapping that in manipulative words.
Did you get COVID?
No.
Okay, so
what's COVID? Define COVID.
Well, hang on. So
and I never did any of the tests, and I never would to this day.
Neither did I. So, but I will say there's 2 times during that whole time that if it wasn't COVID, right, the flu,
it wasn't. It was something else.
It was the flu. I was very sick at one point for solid 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Then I had that what felt like a smoker's cough, and obviously at the time being a smoker, that. So I couldn't delineate that, and then that went on for, probably 6 months, and then another time was about 10 days. And I will say, if it was COVID, right, I'm putting those in air quotes, or influenza, whatever it was, it made me really sick. And I will say that I never went and got tested. I never went to the doctor. The reason I didn't go to the doctor, though, is I didn't want them to say, you have COVID, and then that somehow puts me in a position where I can't do anything. What I did as a responsible human being, especially with a father who's ill, what I did is I hunkered at home anyways,
just kind of isolated,
and just did my own thing without going out and purposely, quote unquote, exposing. But I didn't need to go to a doctor for them to get another 30 grand for them to say, oh yeah, it's COVID. And and that was the other thing that really irritated me. if I knew if I went to the doctor, they would push me getting a vaccination. I don't want a vaccination.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
Over my dead body.
at the same thing that was happening, and you told me about this, and I heard this in other forums.
Those
the
doctors
military
that took those positions, there needs to be accountability.
Well, the military was being forced to do.
We've had a lot of military veteran at this point because they've been booted. Oh, let's wait a sec.
Did we lose it?
It's loading. I don't know. We're just gonna wait because our screen kind of went dark. We still got power. All right, we're back on.
So, what's interesting?
The thing is, we thought we had it bad on the civilian.
Totally on.
We thought we had it bad on the civilian level. We have no freaking idea. We can't even put. You know what? Let's go ahead and plug one of the episodes. So, Chaplain James, a chaplain.
So, hey, for some people,
yeah, go ahead and pause that, will you? I had Chaplain James on. He was deployed at the height of all of that, and they literally, quote, threatened him, "Hey, we'll just leave you here. You won't even gain access back to the States unless you comply." So they threatened him in ways that, wow, and he even religiously was like, no, and all their mandates were illegal because I forget how to say it, Kamarni, whatever, the name under the FDA approval, Kamarni, what is it called? I can't pronounce it.
Are you talking about
the actual
general or
the actual COVID-19
Surgeon
shot?
General?
No, it was so. Come on, I can't. Whatever. I gotta write it down and remember. I've always just stated that the actual FDA approval shot didn't go in a single American arm. It was all it was a ruse, and they played as though these shots were under the FDA approval, but when you actually looked at them, it was emergency use. And you cannot force, even in the military, anybody to get a freaking experimental jab.
Right.
Period. So anyway, poor Chaplain James got pressured enough to where he got it. He's fighting for his life to this day. Okay. When he was put in like the med beds and their care unit, he saw a lot of other individuals come in with vaccine injuries. He spoke out on it. Some of those men died in those care units. You know what the military chalked them up as? Suicide.
Oh, I feel like you told me
their
this.
families.
Yeah.
Bro, this is so egregious. That is so disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so many of these so let's plug the Forgotten Soldiers, okay? We'll add the link, actually. I'll get back in here, add the link to the Forgotten Soldiers right here on Rumble. Please check them out. Check out their podcast. They're constantly getting more veterans on and speaking out on their stories, them getting the boot, and or just horrific situations we can't even fathom. And I hope that lights the spark, because the reality of the selfish American trying to go back to a life of normalcy, there is no such thing without addressing what took place. Because the reality of individuals trying to commit genocide among populace is they will not stop there. Unless you stop them.
Yeah.
Period.
So the issue with government as a whole is it's a business, and we support that business or we don't, right?
Gosh.
And at the end of the day, when a business says, I don't care, I'm going to do what I want to do, and with your money, I don't have to pay in that. I shouldn't have to pay in that business anymore. Like, sorry, like I no longer support this business.
I like that.
And that's the issue I've had with current times. Like, is
that is a singular call to action,
but we're
that
forced,
can shift the tide if Americans cared to educate themselves enough on how to effectively support what they should and what they shouldn't.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the business is failing us, because when you support a business,
it's owned.
Well, you get goods and services that should help support you. And there's the argument. Well, they provide the police and they provide the highways and they provide the firefight. No. At the end of the day, you can privatize almost all of that, if not all of it.
We actually should.
Yeah.
Because name me one good thing financially big government has done right with money. How did they put it? That's it. How do they put it? It's like when you're steward over your own hard-earned money, like the way responsible spending goes, but when it's given to a third party, it's a whole different thing. It's not going to be done responsibly, period. The end. So to privatize, wow, yeah, that would be amazing. All right, so once again, ping-ponging like crazy. It would be awesome. I believe the pandemic to be the smoking gun because it was a direct attack on all Americans, young and old, right?
No. Caveat.
What?
It wasn't just America.
Oh no, it was the world.
It was the world.
It was the world.
And it was a
Well, I'm saying America because we really need to trigger. And the thing is, as I say Americans, right? That's just because this is where I am.
Yeah.
But because literally this podcast in Podbean, I really wish Rumble, get your stuff together. We want geographic stats and analytics to this upload because this is far greater, larger on Unmuzzled Chat than our podcast apps. However, Podbean, our Unmuzzled Chat's hosting site has those analytics, and it's sending out to a multitude of every single podcast app there is.
That's cool.
So they have those stats, and Rumble, come on, get your stuff together. You're a singular platform. Get your stats together, right? So anyway, to the Australians, to the Canadians, to the Russians, Germans, we're in Europe. We're in over 29 countries now. Over.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool. They could apply that to themselves, but I say Americans because, and we touched on this before, like a couple times, where, and maybe you can even help embellish on this point because this is crucial. And some people take offense to, oh, how selfish to say the make America great again or America first. But try to grasp, maybe you have a better analogy, but trying to grasp in my eyes America first.
So
yes,
I think it was Morgan Freeman that said this, and I'll land the plane on this. I'm going to kind of come backwards on it had to do with race, right? And he said, stop talking about it. It's the same thing with nationalism. We humans have put these like borders. Mm-hmm. These aren't real borders. Like they're like we put them in place for control, right? We control this little piece of land. We control. So in my perfect utopia, and again, this is going to speak like super like flowers and rainbows.
It would take a long time to get, and it's almost scary though because where you're going almost goes globalist status, but I get your sentiment. I really do, that it's all arbitrary. Like it's,
well, let me go back to the business analogy,
but
let me go back to the business real quick. So there are businesses out there that are owned by the customer, right? Again, the government is a business, right? Worldly, if you went to a world economy and a world network, and you got rid of these ideologies on
why I want to
race
stop
and
you?
Nationalism, that would be perfect utopia. I know we're not there.
Yeah, the why I want to stop you is the hypotheticals, okay? Because that's completely ignoring, let's say, history and what is established, how it is functional. You know what I'm saying? And so it would be cool. It would be cool. I'm just saying, as it stands, right, in all the different countries, to get there, the only way I see to get to where you're talking, which wouldn't be it would be a blissful kind of utopian kind of world peace type. And any oligarchs, like, man, we would shut them down quick, right? We wouldn't allow it. But to get to that point, it's one of those things. It's like all these countries I view, let's just make it like the relationship analogy, like.
But to your point,
Uh-huh.
this is where I will totally support you. Is you have to have pride with where you live. Okay, we live in the United States of America, the greatest country, the greatest economy, the greatest military that has ever been on this earth, in my opinion. And I'm sure people will challenge that. But with
it's
that,
just been heavily attacked.
Well, it has been heavily attacked. But so that piece I get, and what I would like to see is more people being proud of where they live. Now that's not nationalism. Mm-hmm. Take care of your neighbors. Take care of the garbage.
Yes.
Like, don't be a slob. Like, be nice. Be kind. Like, help out the elderly. Like protect kids. Like, in your neighborhood. So that piece, that's very microism versus macroism. So the macroism, the utopia I was talking about, that would be great. Like, I would love to see that. The microism is what we can do today is the things I just said. And if you're not doing those things, then you are a hindrance to society. You are the problem. You are a detriment. And so, but if you are doing those things, kudos to you. Now that's not nationalism. That is just purely taking care of business the way you should, as a good human being. That's my opinion. So. Yeah. Well, this is all my opinion, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Do I even finish up the point as to, like how we can see the corruption here locally? That's essentially what it boils down to, like within reach, right? So it's like, how are we effectively gonna reach that utopia anywhere else till we address just like a relationship
take care of your own house.
Internally.
Yeah.
So when people can grasp that, where it's like, wow, okay, we can do this, then you rule out the corruption. Then we actually more so even get to the truth as to what's going on elsewhere, because we had to clean house and rule out the corruption here in order to gain that knowledge and clarity and truth. And then it leads, it hopefully could lead to all that. But golly, we really have to do a good job cleaning house.
Yep, agreed.
Like 100%. Well, so the smoking gun, and then we'll get back to ivermectin. To me, it's just, golly, I don't understand as to how that hasn't triggered more Americans to become more so parts of the solution, because in kind of delusionally going back to a life of normalcy is in fact, to your point, being part of the problem.
So it's easier to put your head down and do nothing than it is to put your head up high and say this is wrong. And I believe that our system has actually allowed the acceptance of sheep over wolves. And at the end of the day, a wolf is going to get things done, right? Did we lose it?
Well, let's just wait. Oh, there you are.
And sheep are there was this concept. This was at
that's actually pretty cool, because I've been saying wolves in sheep's clothing and things that.
But there was this
that's great.
There was this video I watched. I think it was at work. This is years ago. I forgot who, and the person's not even there anymore. But they put this video up called "The First Follower," right? Now the concept of the video and the idea is, go find that first follower that you can pull as a leader, and then all these other people will follow them, right? Now I thought about that. I'm like, I don't want followers at all of my teams. I actually want people who lead all the time. So why would I want to find the first follower? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like that concept, it didn't make. So my philosophy as a leader in my profession was go ahead and always build leaders, empower them to be leaders. That's the issue, though. Get back to kind of on our level in the U.S. is we are rewarding sheep, and we're not rewarding wolves. We're actually punishing wolves. Right? They're the ones getting criticized. And it's like, and back to you, and you said this, critical thinking, right? Like what? Like I shared a statistic, I forgot what it is, and I think it was like 96 or 98% of the world's patents are controlled by the U.S., created and controlled by. That means we're an idea critical thinking society, or we should be.
Yes.
That has been attacked. And
yes,
so correct. And we talked about manufacturing, right? Like we've moved all our manufacturing across overseas, which from a cost standpoint, if you look at business, I mean, I get that piece of it. But at the same time that we've done that, we also have said, oh, we don't like your idea. Sorry, ideas aren't accepted. Then what the heck are we doing?
Right.
Like we're not the idea makers anymore. We're not rewarded for that. And we don't have the manufacturing. So we're just, and I said this, I think it was my father. I said this a while back. I said, the U.S. is going to be doomed until you figure out those pieces. Like yes. You have to figure out how to connect the ideas to the workers. Because there are people who, they want to work hard, and there are people who don't. But guess what?
Well, we've been poisoned, demoralized. There's all those war tactics that have taken poisoned, and that's where that's where I personally feel spirituality comes in, helps, assists in that. Actually facing your inner demons, right? Because we become weak because we've lost accountability and responsibility, right? And this has been intentionally, it's been done through kind of MK Ultra tactics and just drip through the education, through the films, through
how many of your neighbors do you know?
By name, like 4.
Okay.
I know pretty much my whole street.
Okay, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
I make it a point anytime I've ever moved to go know who my neighbors are. So
yeah,
I live in an apartment. I'm on the bottom floor. We have 2 stories above us. I know all of them above us.
Cool.
I know the people around us. And, my girlfriend kind of makes fun of me because she's like, everybody, like you're talking. No, I do that because it's important to have that relationship, right?
Yes.
So, Bruce, let's go back to Bruce for a second. He's our neighbor right now. It's good that we know him, right? Down the street, I can't remember his name. It's a super nice guy too that we just met, or down the street, down the dirt road.
We could actually correlate that because initially come out here for solitude and almost a smirk initially, him pulling up type of thing. But with the right individuals, in him coming over, instantly getting my respect because he's like, oh look, is this too close for you?
It's about building the relationships. That was my point, though. The problem is, you said accountability, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's part of that.
Mm-hmm.
We should all be accountable to building relationships because people need people, pure and simple. That it's inherently in who we are, right? And we've gotten away from that. We've gotten more about profit. We've gotten more about corruption. We've gotten more, and it's like, whoa, stop for a second. Are you doing? And it's back to this collectivism.
We've been more about sides.
Yeah, well, this polarization that's happening, and
it's so bad,
and it's getting worse and worse, and the divide's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's the part I hate. And if you sit down and talk to most people, and you and I have talked about this before, most people are moderate. Like I made a couple jokes at the beginning of this podcast. Like at the end of the day, I'm pretty moderate. Like I don't put a lot of time or energy into overthinking that this side is wrong and this side is right. I just like that's not how I operate on a day-to-day basis. However, I look at the issue, right? And then I go, okay, what majority of group owns this issue? Okay, well, it might be this other side, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to all of a sudden hate them. I'm going to try to be as moderate as possible in my thinking. The issue I see, though, that's happening with this polarization is it's cool to say you're wrong and I'm right all the time.
Why is that?
Because it's human nature. We want to always win.
Well, the thing is, when you kick pride and ego in the face every day, I don't care to be right. In fact, in a lot of these, because it's like such a pinch me type situation in this world we live in today, I'd rather be wrong. But it's like, it's kind of like,
it isn't irritating when you go into something going, man, I hope I'm wrong, and you're not. Oh, I hate because it's usually a bad thing. You're like, man, I really hope I'm wrong, and you're not, and you're like, oh, I was right, and I didn't want to be right in that situation. But yeah, I mean, I see your point. I think we talked about humility over the last few days, and I think as Americans we have to be more humble.
yes.
And I mean, it's really easy to be proud, and everyone wants to talk about where they came from and who they are, and it's like, cool. Like that's your own experience. I'm proud of you. Like
I mentioned The Bonds That Make Us Free, that book, before, and how it parallels a lot of the teachings and lessons that you can grasp from How to Win Friends and Influence People. I believe that's like an annual book, but The Bonds, I feel, surpasses even that book. And there's a situation where the individual in an argument like that was even right lost once he lost view, like basically started walking in sin. You know what, I don't know if I've talked, it's been a long time since I read the book, too long actually. I need to dive back in, so I don't know if I'm going to do it justice in this moment.
Table it, because I have no idea what book you're talking about.
Such a great book. It's such a great book because it walks through real life situations that really took place, but it's really all about accountability and healthier perspectives
That's awesome.
actually lead to stronger relationships versus destruction.
So
but it rules out a lot of the defective wiring that we've accumulated through films and whatever.
So I had a buddy just recently. He was contemplating doing a career change, and I did a career change a couple years ago. And he's like, "Man, I got to go on LinkedIn, and I have to form all these relationships." And I said, "Yeah, you do. Like it's not about merit and credentials. Now those are important, but that's not the only thing. You have to also have a relationship now, and that's the cool thing I like about where we're going in some realms, like in business. I don't see that happening in the government. Like if they would just build relationships, you would have some of the coolest politicians. Like, and I'm not saying cool like they're doing everything I want them to do. No, they're doing the right thing. They're like, because doing the right thing isn't when everyone is looking; it's when no one is looking. And so, yeah,
it's unfortunately, I mean, I only know one individual, and he actually ended up going to the top in this country, aka Trump. Like in this situation, does it mean this man's perfect? No. Do I myself have a bunch of red flags that I would love to sit down and talk? And maybe those red flags would stay up. Maybe they became a bigger issue, right? Maybe they get put to rest.
But that's the problem with Trump. It's a double-edged sword. Trump is really good at building certain relationships, but he's also broken certain relationships. So the reason the other side doesn't like Trump is because he's broken those relationships by certain things he said. And hang on, regardless of his policies and regardless of what he did for the U.S.
Exposing corruption,
well, no. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, you said this to me earlier, right? We were talking about delivery. And we were talking about something personal, but you said, make sure you're delivering, right? Like how you, I forgot how you verbatim, but you basically said, because if you're too direct,
it's reading the room.
Yes, we talked about reading the room.
Yeah.
You put a lot of people off. So that finesse, that's the one thing, like you said, red flags. The one thing that Trump could do is probably work on his finesse. Like,
I honestly admire someone who was seeming, kind of an arrogant gentleman, right? Prior, successful man. I don't know, Ford to be to an extent. I don't know. I found it quite refreshing that because there was a while I was like, man, it would be nice to see him get a little more presidential. But then after a while, to see the battle when he went after the deep state, when he was going after fake news, when he was exposing the levels of corruption. I mean, come on, dude. There's an attack on his life, assassination attempt. Like, it is the evil he is up against. Okay, have been demonizing, because the reality of it is, people have drank Orange Man bad, and that has been effective. People want to slander that man because all these talking points, there was a war machine effectively turned on against him. Because the reality, we could touch on just a few key points of, color for lovely Joe Biden, to where, why is Trump negatively in the spotlight at all? He's a freaking pedophile. Joe Biden. Have you read Ashley Biden's journal? His own daughter. Okay.
I don't do a lot of research on Biden.
So that alone, hang
on.
Why is Trump an issue? But hey, you know what? We're getting
every figurehead though.
Yes.
To that point, has been you use the word demonized. Has been demonized.
But the thing is, we're ping ponging, because the whole point of me even bringing Trump up, because we were going on. You were talking about politicians and making friends and all this. So the point of bringing up Trump, he's the only one, and he ended up at the top, which is a lot harder to do on the point I'm trying to make here, versus all the governors and senators and all positions of office, and even in the legal systems and such. They go in on this servant salary, and they leave multi-millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Trump, you if you have any others you could name, right? Trump is the only one that went into one of these positions, and it happened to be the top, that left less wealthy than going in. Yeah. And he gave up his servant salary when he went in.
But hang on, I want to counter something real quick.
Well,
you talk about Trump's success.
The thing is,
you talk about Trump's success, but I want to give you an analogy real quick.
You're missing the point. This isn't about Trump, and you're making it about Trump.
No.
This isn't about Trump. The point I'm making is the corruption on all of it. So they're not making friends, because, like Carrie Lake even exposed on a recorded call, that gentleman was basically saying, you better cease and desist, because your death warrant, you continue, right. And they were trying to bench her, and she literally was like, well, they'll have to kill me, because it's now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next cycle. It's now. Like, America we either make the changes that are necessary now, because this is war. This is 5th generation warfare on levels I haven't even fully absorbed. No one can really fully absorb, because there's so many moving parts. Yeah. It's tough. It is really tough.
Yeah.
So the reality of it is, it's not about Trump, and it shouldn't be. It isn't. It's about the American people. It's about freaking seeing, like, enough is enough, right? And that's where I was hoping the pandemic was it, to unify.
I just don't want to pay $8 for a loaf of bread.
I know, what the heck?
And like $4 for gas. Like,
yeah.
Like gas, it's so funny with the whole gas thing. They're like, oh, we're gonna run out of gas. No, we're not. Like, we're not running out of gas anytime soon. Like this whole idea that we're running out of gas, and what it is you need to start tapping into our gas.
Yes.
Like go back to tapping. What is it? The
pipelines.
I can't remember the name of it though. The big one.
Alaska.
Well, we have
Keystone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, and like that's the issue.
Yeah.
But again, everything being so expensive, and
think about that. Think about that for a second. And we talked about it a while ago. Wow, Bull is letting some go. Good for you, buddy. It's potent.
I'm not smelling them yet, so
this is the second one.
Oh, we have to open the door?
I'm all right. The window's open.
Okay.
I'll lift. Thank you.
Oh no, I just woo.
So, what country ever in their right mind in its history at the point it reached an energy independence or independence? Energy. Was it? All right,
energy independence.
Yeah, energy independence. And then they backtrack to where they're no longer, and now they're dependent. America did, we did, under this administration.
Yeah.
What a freaking joke. And who suffers? The citizens suffer the most. 100%.
Yeah, that's the issue I see.
And we're not, that's what I'm saying. You could choose your poison, and there are a lot of points. You touch on something powerful about, away from nationalism, but having the sense of pride, right? In pretty much a community sense. But it can be as a country, right? That's also what they're trying to do. Isn't it enough for people with the invasion happening? Because with the flood of people that have no historical anything to this country, that literally is breaking the patriotic backbone and a lot of things.
I have a different perspective on that, but we're not going to go down that road.
Well, the Dems are already getting geared up for so they could vote.
Some of the toughest, most phenomenal workers that I've ever worked with have come from other countries.
Bro, do you know, like Venezuela, for example's crime is tanked. Like it's going down. Why? Because they literally dumped their prisons right here into this country.
I know those are examples, but I'm telling you, when I look at the generation of American-born citizens, and I look at I would take someone overseas working.
The American family's been poisoned,
especially in my field in technology, they are 10 times the workers, and they work hard and they want to be here. So I disagree with that statement. Like as far as that we need to figure out a legal way to get them over here. Now, where they're being dropped off, I don't disagree with that statement. That's wrong.
No vetting is
no. That part's super wrong. So, but what I'm saying is
it's being intentionally done.
But look at the American worker. The American-born worker is pretty lazy.
You just took the invasion that's taken place, which is north of 30 million. Let me ask you this: are you aware of the how is it the largest margin between, let's say, votes on a presidential campaign? The largest margin ever in this country. Do you know what that number is?
I don't.
17 million. 17 million. The corruption's so bad and has lost trust in this country that it's literally enabling an invasion of this country. So it isn't your workers that you're speaking on behalf of and has nothing to do with that. That's quite, I mean, I would find it distasteful because it's actually so beside the point. You're actually missing the dangers of what is actually taking place.
No, what I'm saying, and it goes
because
back,
that's what's intentionally being done.
It goes back to being proud to be an American, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying they're coming to this country and they don't have the back history.
Well, as a part.
Yes. But I'm telling you,
there's layers.
I'm telling you, the Americans that were born here that I've seen don't have that either. It's not being taught in their schools, and it's not ingrained. So what happens? What happens is a lot of them are very lazy, and they think, well, I'm American. I was born here, and while all I'm trying to say, I'm giving you an alternate perspective that I have seen on my girlfriend's side of the family. Right. Them being, from Mexico, they are the hardest freaking workers. Yeah. I'm sorry, but like I absolutely adore the Indian culture, like India. Like they are they are truly some of the hardest workers I've ever seen in my life. Like, and so at the end of the day, and this is why I want to prove this point, or I wanted to make this point, is the issue I see is you have these workers coming over from India, and it takes them 16, 17, 18 years to get citizenship. And they're paying into our taxes. They're paying.
Okay.
And they're paying way higher than most Americans because they're making more money than most Americans because they have a very skilled job.
Right.
They're, a software engineer is a very highly renowned and highly educated place. They're paying more and they're worked harder, and then it takes them 18 years to get their citizenship. That is a bad system, pure and simple. So we're agreeing that if you do it legally, but at the same time, make it quicker for those people that are already paying into the system.
So once again,
I get really passionate.
So this was a half involving this country, but other countries' issues. And we've already gone over and covered that we can't solve those issues till we clean effing house. Okay?
Right.
The corruption. All right? We can't come out with the proper system, right? And numbers and everything, because there's a lot to figure out.
We need to stop giving money to other countries, pure and simple.
100%. But to come up with the right system on vetting and getting people, because even with the invasion, I'm sure some are slipping through that are just truly seeking that too, undoubtedly. But there's also guaranteed by the what is it? Not the borders are not Kamala, but freaking the ones that want to do their jobs, that sleeper cells are here. Terrorists have made it in. This is guaranteed. This is guaranteed by border.
What's that percentage? You made a comment of 30 million. Those 30 million are not that entire number. I promise you.
What do you mean?
You use a statistic of 30 million that are
in north of 30 million.
30 million that are all bad terrorists. They're all bad people.
No.
Right. So what's that percentage?
The invasion.
Right. What's that percentage?
Bro, we should know, because it should be zero. It should be zero terrorists. But we can see
that's never.
You can see the rise of crime. More than 100,000 Americans are dying of fentanyl alone right now.
Yeah, that's
child trafficking and human trafficking and slavery now is larger in this country than ever before.
What percentage is that? Like the reason it matters is because that platform to say all these people are coming in illegally, and then when I asked that counter statement, because I've asked it to several other people, and they don't know what the number is.
They're not being vetted. There is no number to be had. What is happening is what is inappropriate. Period. The end.
Being vetted, how do you vet that?
So you can't just allow people to come through.
So how do you vet them? How would you vet them?
So once again, we already went over this. This is because we're not just talking. We're talking every single, almost, there's a multitude of countries that this is happening to. Once again, how are you going to clean house when it's being infested by invaders? You cannot.
No, I understand that piece. I asked you a question. How do you vet that? Do you get their shoe size? Do you get their DNA? How do you vet that?
Dude, there's identification, right? There's some background checking. There's already things in place that I haven't entirely educated myself on, because it's all priorities first, right? Priorities. And ultimately you have to.
So if you're here for 18 years and you paid into the system, are you vetted?
here for 18 years, bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a.
But
it's
if
a
you're here
million
for 18
it's a
years,
$1
you're
billion
not part of that 30 million that's just invading, brother. That's not even part of the equation that I initially brought up. So you're bringing up a whole nother situation.
So okay, yeah, they're all on visa. So so you're saying these 30 million are all illegals,
criminals, because they came.
30 million are criminals
because they came into this country illegally.
So we're 360 million people, and you're saying 10 over roughly.
You
10%.
Want me to hear? You don't have to hear it from me. You can hear it from Tucker. You could hear it from a lot of people. Tucker's recent one.
It's 10%. No, I didn't know that.
Tucker's recent one is over 21 something million, right? That was his number. But some of my trusted sources, and even for a while now, are saying in excess of 30 million. And I believe that number. I believe Tucker is speaking on more a factual, like a conservative number that, and he's confident saying on his. I'm confident saying 30, right? And if other people want to bring forth some sources on maybe that 9 million,
that just seems like a very high number percentage.
You want me to pull up the Tucker?
No. Yeah, we can watch that later.
Dude, it'd actually kind of be fun because we could share it. We could actually share it with the folks here, and we could take a break because hey, like this is good. I even like passionate. I do like passion.
I need to do a nature walk real quick.
Oh, do you?
This monster is.
I'm actually here. It is right here. Boom. Am I good? Kinda, sorta. Okay, let me do this. Live stream. Oh, we're live stream. Come on, screen share. Okay. You ready for this, buddy?
Yep.
And I need to turn this up. Liberal. 22. This is a big problem.
Okay, so this says nothing about criminals, though. This says nothing about that. That was my question. So you're saying this part I can get on with, okay? The 22 million to get them over here to get those votes, right? Totally with you on that point. However, I don't think 22 million of that. I don't think those 22 million are all criminals.
Okay, no, they're not.
That's what I was like.
That.
What?
No, what I was stating, because even from the border officials that are down there, like the head of the border, like security, have stated that terrorists indisputably have come in, right? And sleeper cells and all sorts. So it's to the number. I'm not saying them all, right? In the reality that it's happening on the level it's just unacceptable. And you can now see the crime is on the rise all over, and the majority, you know who's really suffering? Women and children. I mean, just in the UK, from their invasion happened, because this is happening all over the world strategically. Who is it that shared that one? It was someone reputable. I'm trying to think. Whatever, beside the point. Yeah, concert. This illegal criminal.
Have you ever been to London? I mean,
stabbed 3 young girls in that concert.
Oh, that's terrible. I was gonna say though, I mean, I kind of want to immigrate to UK because London's pretty cool. Like that's a cool country. But yeah.
Yeah, but you know, Lake and Riley here, and a multitude. It's about every 24, 28 hours. One or more women are horrifically, like it's getting bad.
Killed by an illegal that came over here like to commit crime. That's the line you're trying to draw. I don't believe that.
What do you mean? No, I'm saying
I don't believe that number is as high. But you said every 4. What did you say? 4 hours?
No. So it was there. There have been durations. Like, so I can't keep up on all these specifics, right? But there was like a week's period where it was just every basically 24 hours, one of our young women in America, or I believe there was even, an adult,
but killed by an illegal is the
killed by an illegal criminal.
Okay, that's
and it's not just murder in all cases, and we don't need to get entirely graphic.
Yeah,
it's horrific, and it shouldn't happen.
No,
and there should be accountability to this current administration. It's wrong.
So it's 356. Yes. It's 356 or 365. Excuse me. I don't know why I said 56. 365 is every 24 hours that a woman is killed over the course of a year, right? So we'll say right at 400. That's a lot. Like 2 is a lot. Like
2, it's one's too many.
Yeah,
bro. One's too many.
Well,
we should
one
be
is unacceptable. 2 is
we should be seeking accountability and remedy for this, like, right away. And that's, once again, like, it's just another one of the situations where when is enough for Americans, right? But to the point you were making, right? I'm just saying, after certain priorities, after certain things are taking place, yes, then I would like to get educated more into the process.
Yeah,
because I do believe that there could be incredible assets out there in other countries that would like to bring their skills here in this country and to get them here in a more speedily sense, and knowing, vetting, because that's key.
Yeah,
right, that is key. And when that's done, and I do believe there really should be, because not only should the education system be revamped for Americans, they also would need, potentially, I believe there actually should even be some things, they should actually know some of America's history. They should actually be able to pass some type of educational test as to America. And I do believe they should.
Like, what color's the White House?
And I do believe they should be able to speak English. That's a native language here. Be able to speak English. I'm not demonizing their language here, right? That they could speak their language here with whomever, right? That speaks or wants to learn. That's amazing, right? That's a beautiful thing. But to come into another country and just like demand, because you can see with certain populations coming here, that even Americans now have kind of been put in second in line to other languages, in a sense. With certain companies, it is pretty.
Let's take a quick break, but I can debate that, because that goes against the whole melting pot. We're a melting pot, and we were meant to be a melting pot.
The thing is,
man,
did those,
that gets rid of the diversity?
Did those people, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, like it.
I love that there's so many different languages. I think it's the only place in the world that you have all these different languages. Only place in the world. How awesome is that?
I also feel that those individuals should be able to speak English if they're going to be a citizen of this country.
But even native born Americans can't speak English very well. like you know what I'm saying? They speak good.
No, genuinely, I do see, like, and this could be debated. This could be, a lot of things. But I'm not trying to like totally force her and change it. Like, that is the language of this country. period.
But that goes
Like,
back. That goes back to like because it's law.
So
like,
you want to be a part of this country, you learn the language. It's as simple as that.
yeah.
Like, you can debate it all you want. I'm not trying to take away things, like, because otherwise there's just complications.
On who?
The grocery store.
No, okay.
The gas station clerk.
But
neighbors.
But isn't that the coolest thing, that America, you can come here from anywhere in the world and still communicate? Isn't that cool?
Yeah, because they learned English because it became a mandate. That'd be great.
No, but I'm just, I don't know. I do disagree with that statement. I don't think you make it mandatory. I think what you do, here's how I would vet, because you didn't ask me the counter question or back to me. I would vet that you go through those studies.
Well, I wanted to move on to the more important, there's priorities, because the reality of it is, if we don't fix certain things, this is irrelevant. This is absolutely irrelevant if we don't turn, because fifth generation warfare is happening. With what Tucker just stated right there, that should be.
I don't know. I don't know what fifth generation warfare means. 5 generations this has been building up.
Well, so there's just been historical warfare kind of classified. My dumb, chimp brain would just whatever. Let's just classify first generation sticks and stones, second generation bows and arrows, third generation, fifth generation warfare is over hearts and minds. Okay, we got biological warfare part of it. We got MK Ultra part of it. We got these strategic, all this poisoning of the food, right? Overtaking of the education system, so indoctrinations, just all these things. The invasion is part of it. Overcoming the election system, because it's indisputable who won 2020. It is indisputable.
Yeah.
Like the evidence is it's overwhelming. They just strategically put everything that needed to be implemented in legal systems and everything to essentially steal that election. So anyway, fifth generation warfare.
I don't disagree with you on that. I think there was definitely whatever. I mean, I'm also not educated enough to know where that went, but.
No.
But
I think it was my buddy system.
What was my
2,000 mules?
Yeah,
I mean, even what Facebook did. Facebook, in and of itself, what they took upon themselves to why once again, this highlights a lot of the players when you start connecting the dots. But why would they demonize Trump, Russia, and that was a complete debunk, right? What a joke. But when it came to Hunter Biden's laptop, which even the FBI had and whatnot, they knew it absolutely was true. They hinted, because they're part of the corruption, right? And has lost the majority of America's trust. Hinted, this is Russia disinformation. So they heavily censored, which in fact, what they did on manipulating information, suppressing information on certain things, they in and of themselves had impact. What do you call it?
So
election fraud.
Hang on. Take all that out.
Yes.
All that evidence, whatever.
Yeah.
Here's my evidence. And this is what my buddy and I talk about all that. I went to bed. Trump was winning by a landslide.
There you go.
I woke up the next morning to go, what?
Mm-hmm.
That was my evidence. I didn't like, and Trump had won all those swing states, right? Like, now granted, all the polls weren't in yet, but I'm like, wait. Oh, there was this like, you guys just had like this like bucket of like
You want to hear something personal? So, what was it? 2022. So I didn't know in 2020. It was 2022 when I went in and I had a ballot.
You sound like you're East Coast when you say that. You're like 2022.
Really? Well, I did grow up on the East Coast. That'd be
you're
interesting.
Like, hey.
I didn't talk. Yeah, I talked to David.
Almost doing it like a hey. It was 2022.
Oh, yeah. No. People all the time are like, I pick up some type of accent, and I don't know what is like. It's
was
like
kind of like a Bronx going on there, you know.
I mean, it's just whatever, right?
So what year was it again?
It was 2022. And all right, so personal experience, and I'm in there the midterms.
Midterms.
Yeah.
And
I'm in there, and that's when the Dems and whatever obviously knew we're all about day of, and we get in there and there's all sorts of issues, right? Even the ballot that initially printed out, the system rejected, and he was trying to manipulate me to just put it in the slot, and I'm like, no, I want the freaking check mark, you know. And he's like, well, I'll show you get back in the line. All right, well, I'll do that. And it's wild because I went through there and I'm sitting there and I'm like kind of paying attention to, because I was right next to where they deposit it, right? And it was only like out of 10 people, I think 1 or 2 people got back in line. The rest of them were like, oh, okay. And there was a problem with that, actually, and it was proven. Like some of them actually weren't even divided. It was dropping into the same bin, where the Dominion machine, the tabulator, and then the divider wasn't even put in, so they were pulling together. They had no way as to know which ones even counted. So the majority of ones that weren't, and it was like a high percentage. It was like 70%. Didn't even get, you know, so that's big. Oh yeah, total coincidence. Yeah. But what that caused for me was I wanted to now see, because they ended up accepting my second one. I wanted to see on the register, you know, that it showed.
Oh, you and I remember talking to you about this. I do remember talking about.
I have screenshot. I actually need to pull this up and put it up. So I for the first time, I'm looking at, you know, okay, so 2022, here it is. It went through. Cool. Oh, I could see all the years past, and every single time, day of, years back, every year I voted, day of 2020, I voted day of, labeled early, like ballot.
How does that work? How did you vote day of when you had an early ballot?
So
you know what I'm saying?
What my question?
It's a baited question.
What my question is, how could it be possible someone gets an early ballot, fill it in, send it in, and then still be able to go in?
Oh.
And still be able to go in, and whether it allows them or not, if it allows them, it should still just be, it's still just one anyways, right? Or it shouldn't allow them if they don't have the system to make it be one, because it should be one person, one vote, right? So for me, with the evidence I could see, what this tells me is one thing. When I went in day of, that's not the vote they counted under my identity, me, James.
But you do realize your vote doesn't really count, right? So it's the Electoral College that does it.
So 2020, pandemic, they sent ballots out to freaking pretty much everyone. So I don't know. If I had to guess, mine just ended up being in one of those 2,000 mules hands that was stuffing, and they filled it out however they wanted to fill out, and that's what was counted, because it was under early, and I only have gone in day of, and I have proof of that for 2020 through even messages. So
yeah, that's sketchy. Yeah, that's sketchy.
Personally, and I didn't realize that, because I would have obviously filed that discrepancy, because there were patriots taking action on all of that, and but the reality of it is, if enough Americans would have stood up and saw, you know what, that can't happen. What happened in is proven, like, by numbers, guys, geniuses, that it's like, this can't happen. But it just, the numbers, this many votes for this individual, it can't happen.
It should be the popular vote. There should be no electoral college. It should be a percentage game. That's it. Now, there's all kinds of arguments to that because of bigger population and you know, you got like places like Chicago and LA and New York that like are predominantly Democrat. That then the outskirts I was just telling you about Illinois that are predominantly
I don't believe it
Republican.
should. I just believe it should operate as designed without.
Well, obviously without the corruption. Yes.
As it's designed. But the reality of it is, like, this is the world we live in. At the point, elections are so important, right? Like that is the greatest equalizer for all Americans. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. It doesn't matter how poor you are. You're one person. You're one vote. And that is the beauty. It should be the beauty of this country to steer it in the right freaking direction.
Should be, yes. I you know what? I have to take a nature break. So
okay,
take a quick break.
Go for it. What are you? Could you hang on and we can wrap this up? We're an hour and 45 minutes, bro.
All right, let's wrap it up.
We didn't get through anything.
Well, we could do one tomorrow morning before I leave.
I hate you. I'm just kidding, brother. Life hacks.
Well, okay.
Oh,
I'll wrap it up for the life hacks. Stand outside, get sunlight, equalize yourself, right?
Look, all right. Repeat all that just in case.
Stand outside, get sun, equalize yourself. Take your shoes off, ground yourself for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Do a cold plunge. Yep. I think you told me to run nude through the forest.
Yeah. Well, it was raining at the time, and the idea was like,
I lost my sandal.
It was just you could go do this if you were feeling blue.
Yeah.
But it would be a nature's cold plunge.
Yep.
Right.
Hang on. What were the other ones? Oh, the cell phone.
Yes.
So hang on. I'm gonna try to. You're gonna fill in the gaps. Okay. So let's see how educated I got today. So, and I agree with all. I agree with this. And I'm going to use
just
it.
To test.
I'm going to use it
just
as
a test.
Yeah, I'm going to use it as a
document,
an analogy within the Matrix. Our bodies emit, energy. This corrupts that energy. I believe this was in the millions, and you're only supposed to be at like 10,000 or something like that.
So that was hundreds of thousands. My earbuds
were in the millions.
Yes.
And so the goal or the life hack that you should do is when you go to bed. Yeah. Put this on airplane mode.
Yes.
Which helps disrupt or stop the frequencies coming in. Mm-hmm. Or if you can't do that, you have an emergency call, put it like 15, 20 feet away from you.
Yeah, at least 15.
Shouldn't fall asleep to TV. That's another one. You should just try to disconnect.
Blue light. That's another thing. Get blue block glasses.
Yep.
You know what? Let's go ahead and plug Bond Charge because Bond Charge actually origin. Oh, he needs that one. But yeah, we all do. But check out Bond Charge. Yeah. They got all the blue box glasses, like really high end.
This was really cool how you explained this. I think the other thing too, I think it was at Jen's house actually.
That's actually a life hack right there.
She had a
sauna. Infrared sauna.
Yeah.
That infrared sauna blanket, bro, is more mobile and portable and freaking even affordable, right? Then and through our affiliation, you get 15% off all their products. It's more than $100 off that infrared sauna blanket. Yeah. But the frequencies are no joke. But to do a parasite cleanse annually, right? You got to look into that, man. It's why are these countries doing it and we're not? And the whole bacteria, whatever. I mean, why is it, I go to Christmas, right? Family and the kids start getting the boogers and the snot and the coughs and the sneezing and they're down with the fever and it's just spreading through like wildfire. Everyone's getting it. And at that time, I actually had a Lyme flare up. So I was struggling even neurologically. But I'm microdosing on ivermectin. I didn't get sick. So my question just becomes to challenge the Western medicine narrative when there's books that are all about parasites. Why is it that's anti-parasitical knocked out my whatever COVID was during that, right? Knocked out these colds and flus and prevented them entirely in a lot of situations. And then not just me. I know literally 12 people I could list that could come on here and bear that same testimony.
Yeah.
It makes you question things.
You know what's crazy about that questioning? I think it, for me, the reason I never went and got vaccinated was it just, again, taking all the evidence out, all the corruption. There's three ways to operate in life: your mind, your heart, but the one you should always operate is your gut. And because and my mom said this, your gut is the equalizer. Your mind tries to logic things. Your heart is emotional, and we know the heart truly is emotional. This is a, it's a symbol over time, right? But your gut, that gut feeling you get when something just doesn't feel right, something's wrong, something's scummy about this. I don't know why more people didn't get that scumminess. I got it initially. I was like, it seems weird.
A lot of people did, but
even when we shut down the world, that was scummy.
They weren't willing to lose their job over it. It's crazy. It's your life. It's your freaking life.
Yeah.
Okay? And the reality of it is, some of these poor individuals are no longer with us. And some of these individuals are suffering in such a way that even if we got proper accountability, and they got millions and millions of dollars from Pfizer, millions and millions of dollars, I guarantee, would trade that in an heartbeat for their health back.
You know, it's crazy though. If my job had forced me to get that, they recommended at one point, like, and I think it was just because they were trying to follow kind of what they thought was science, right? So I don't think there was any malice.
No one was forced, but forced to keep your job.
Yeah, but had they actually done that, I was willing and ready to quit my job, because and as we were going through this,
that would have been the final nail in the coffin on the whole topic.
We had a whole like HR portal that was built for it, where you would sign off and say you did it, you acknowledge that you did the vaccination, all this crap, right? And honestly, I was waiting for them to say, because that would have been the next step, right?
Yeah.
Because it was recommended, right? And again, they were going off of misinformation. So again, no malice with, propaganda. I truly believe my executive team was doing that right by what they knew at the time. Because what's interesting is when they started getting more information, you know what happened? They went, "Oh, no, you guys don't need to do this." So something changed. I don't know what it was. I'm not in those meetings, but I will say this: had they said, "Mike, you are required to do this, or you don't keep your job," I would have said, "Bye."
Do you know?
Because I did, to your point, I did feel like my life depended on that. Meaning, they didn't have the testing. They didn't know what this was. The narratives were wrong on it.
Do you even know, to this day, even having this type of discussion on YouTube get us kicked off? Do you even realize
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Like, that is a level of manipulation that is so downright dangerous. Not only people should be boycotting and running from that like the plague, we should be shutting that shit down.
Yeah.
I don't swear very much on this podcast, but I mean it.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with America? Are we entirely packed? As, Harari, Klaus Schwab's puppet, World Economic Forum has stated, humans are now hackable animals. Are we? Or are we going to disprove them? Because I truly see they're right. They're right. Look how weak Americans are.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy?
Oh, my family, oh, my job, oh, my responsibilities. It's like, none of this matters. You are effectively rolling the dice on patriots out there fighting. Yeah. That's essentially what we're trying to accomplish here, and bridge the gap for parents that have those good responsibilities, because they are honorable. They are important. Yeah. But the reality of it is, if enough people don't show up on this 5th generation warfare, it's at our doorstep. It's not a distant battlefield where bullets are flying. I actually would almost prefer that, because at the point bombs were actually happening here, to the amount of death, it would be hitting every state. Yeah. And people would hear it and see it, and then they'd see the blood, and they would show up. They wouldn't, or they'd run. You'd either run and be cowardice, but you just couldn't ignore the fact.
If the government also said to me that you were required to get a vaccination, I would have I would have exercised my rights on the Second Amendment because at the end of the day, like you can't force people.
Dead body.
Correct. You can't force people to do something like
anything
with my body. This is my body, man.
It's the speech too.
Yeah. All right. Well, this guy's got to go out. I got to go out.
Well, things got passionate. I love it though because this is what it's all about. We can agree to disagree on things, but then again, I don't think we even really disagree on things. There's more depth to be had.
Yeah.
I just want to keep and I don't mean to cut you off at all. Really, I just like keeping things in priorities, right? Because the dangers, like in that clip, like we can just ponder it and we'll talk about it in a little more depth. And I hope that translates over to the listeners too, because let's not get caught up in the fluff. Let's try to be effective and articulate and unite. You know, we need more brilliant minds coming to the table, showing up on this podcast to help even create solutions and also the momentum, right? Yeah. It's together. It's what we're trying to do. And there's a lot of other pages I get. They speak more articulate and are just more so built for this than I. But we all have our flavor, right? And I'm just trying to show up to capacity until things are not as threatening. Like that's what we all in a sense need to be doing.
Yeah.
So with that, folks, one other call to action: Patriot Mobile. Check them out. If you haven't done it, what are you waiting for? The only Christian conservative mobile network out there. Quit funding your enemy. Fund a company that's pro-life, pro-veterans, pro-freedoms, and they're on the front lines fighting on behalf of you each and every day. Other than that, we got the bond charge. We have the Masterpiece tincture that assists in detoxifying the body. Check out that link. And go to Black Eagle Apparel. Support us and get an Unmuzzled Chat tee and embody just that. Walk around unmuzzled and join us. If you want to be on the podcast, email unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. God bless you. God bless America. Until next time, take care. Oh, I end on this thing.